Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today's video is going to be all about makeup for beginners. If you're just starting to get into makeup and you're just not really quite sure what you're supposed to be doing, then this is going to be the perfect video for you. So if this is your first time here with our YouTube fam, then welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. If you like this video, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And let's just get right into it. So first and foremost, you have to make sure that your face is clean. You have to start with the clean base. So what I do every morning when I get ready is I make sure that my face is clean and fresh. So what I have already done is I've cleansed my face with my favorite cleanser. This is the cleanser that I used today to clean my face. What this is going to do, it's going to ensure that you have a clean base. And that is really important, because if you wake up in the morning and you just slap on some foundation, then your makeup's not going to last as long, and you're also just going to damage your skin. So you want to make sure that you're starting off with a clean base. The second most important thing that you do before you apply your makeup is that you make sure that you moisturize. The moisturizer that I have been using for the past couple of months is the Benefit, and this is called Total Moisture. So moisturizing is really important because it does help hydrate your skin, and it also helps give your skin some of that hydration before you smack on some products. So you want to make sure that you are moisturizing anytime before you wear anything else on your face. So I've already put on my moisturizer. I usually let my moisturizer sit in my face for about 10-15 minutes before I put anything else on my face. So what I will usually do while I wait for my moisturizer to seep into my skin is I'll go ahead and start with my eyebrows. So I can go ahead and start with that. There's two steps to my eyebrow routine. What I tend to use on it every day is my Gimme Brow. This is going to brush your eyebrows into place, but it's also going to fill in any gaps that you may have in your eyebrows. Like I have a bald spot on this eyebrow, so this is like my best friend. Also, if you're doing your eyebrows and you put a product anywhere where it's not supposed to go, that's totally okay. Just let the product dry before you try to remove it. So once I've done that, and if I have time, if I'm not like running late, which I usually am, I'll go ahead and fill them in with my Goof Proof pencil. What I like about this pencil is that it has a fine tip on one end, and on the other side it has that thicker tip. One thing to keep in mind when you're doing your eyebrows, you want to go very light, so you're not like drawing, you're just like filling in. So you definitely want to be light-handed when you're applying the product. And then I just like to brush them up and move on to the next. The next thing that I like to do is I like to prime my face, and the one that I've been using lately is this NYX Angel Veil. So there's a lot of different views about primers, but for me personally, when I wear primers, I have noticed that my foundation and my makeup just lasts a lot longer, and it also helps minimize the appearance of pores. I have a lot of pores like in this area here, so for me I like to focus the majority of my primer right in that area, and also right on my forehead, just because that's where I tend to get the most oily. So there we go. So primers are really good for like helping your makeup just last longer, and it also helps you have that like smoother finish. So if you haven't heard of a primer, definitely give it a try and let me know what you think. So once I'm done applying my primer, the next step that I like to do is I like to conceal my under eye area. And the one concealer that I go through these so much, it's this Age Rewind by Maybelline, and I just love this concealer. I love the tip of it because it's so easy to like just apply. So when you're applying your concealer, what you want to make sure that you do is that you conceal beyond the dark area. So I like to make this little triangle underneath my eye, and then I bring it on the side of my nose. So it's gonna look something like that. And I like to do this for two reasons. If you conceal just where it's dark, it's actually going to make your under eye area look a lot more pronounced. So when you're concealing, make sure that you're concealing in this little triangle looking thing. And for some odd reason, I've been breaking out a lot lately, so I just like to go around my face and just add a little bit of concealer wherever I have any redness. So I'll take this little sponge, and you have to make sure that the sponge is damp, because if it's not damp, it's just going to like absorb all of your product. So when you are blending in the product onto your face, you want to make sure that you are lightly pressing onto the skin. What you don't want to do is to go too hard, because you're just trying to press the product onto your face. Alright, and a quick tip for when you're using a sponge: don't drag the sponge, just dab. If you drag the sponge, you're gonna just move everything that you just put on your face, and it's not going to give you that flawless finish. So once I've already done that, then I go ahead and apply my foundation. And another thing about your foundation is that you want to make sure that you're shaking your foundation, because what tends to happen, even if you use the same foundation every day, it's going to be a few hours or a couple of hours before you use your foundation again, and sometimes the formula can break down. And so if you're noticing that your foundation is like too liquidy or it just looks weird, the consistency of it, you'll notice that the consistency of it is not the same as time goes on, then just make sure that you are shaking your foundation every time before you apply it. Again, I am using a sponge to blend out my foundation, and this is also damp, so make sure that your sponges are damp when you are putting on your foundation. And the foundation that I'm using today is called Infallible by L'Oreal. And I do like this foundation because it's very affordable, and I love how it wears throughout the day. So if you're looking for a foundation that's not too expensive but that gets the job done, then I would recommend you give that a try. And I'm going to be listing all the products that I'm using today down below, so not to worry. If I miss something, then I'll be sure to post the links where you can buy these products. Another thing to keep in mind about foundation is that you want to start light and then build up the coverage. So a lot of the times, especially if you're just beginning to do makeup, you won't know how much is like good enough. So just always start small, and then just like gradually build your way up depending on like what you're trying to achieve for that day. The last thing about like when applying foundation, please make sure that you don't forget about your neck and that you're bringing down the foundation, because I see this happen all the time where you'll apply foundation and you forget about your neck, so you have like this weird line going on. So just make sure that you show your neck some love and that you're bringing it all the way down. So once you've already applied your foundation, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to seal your foundation with a powder. And the powder that I like to use right now is called Confidence, and I love the name, by Tarte. And the color that I'm using is Fair Light Neutral. Now when you're applying the powder, what you want to do is lightly pick up the product and tap off any excess that might be in your brush. And when you're applying the powder onto your face, make sure that you're simply dabbing onto your skin. What you don't want to do is go in like circular motions or anything that looks like this, because what that's going to do is that's going to move everything that you just applied. So the next thing that I like to do is I like to do my lashes. And one thing about your lashes is that you want to use a mascara that's going to give you what you're looking for. So if you want something that's going to make your eyelashes like longer, then you're going to want to use a mascara that is going to advertise for that and that is going to say and claim that that's what it does. Mascaras differ on the brushes that the mascara comes with. So one quick tip about your mascara is that when you open it, did you hear that? It sounds like a kiss. Like if your mascara is not kissing, then it's probably time to let it go. What tends to happen is that after a while, mascaras do dry out. So if your mascara is not making that noise when you open it, then it's probably time to let it go. So one thing that I learned from my mom actually, when you're applying your mascara, you want to try to look straight ahead, and then when you grab your lashes, you're going to wiggle your way out and up. So that's going to help you coat the lashes, but also it's going to help them curl up. And if you want to curl your lashes with a lash curler, you can totally do that before or after. I really don't like to do that. I'm a little scared of them. Another thing that helps is that if you have like sensitive eyes or you're like afraid to put anything close to your eye, you can just hold the brush as close as you possibly can and just close down or blink down. I want to show you guys the kiss again. This happens to me all the time. If you happen to get mascara somewhere where you did not intend for the mascara to go, first, do not freak out. Stay calm and let the mascara dry. And once you've already like finished everything, once the mascara is like dried or wherever, like let's say you get it in your eye or something, just grab like a Q-tip and then put light pressure on it and it will come right off. What you don't want to do is try to clean it up right away, because all that's going to do is it's going to get messy. You're going to get it everywhere. So mascara, almost every formula, once it dries, it's very easy to come up. So if that happens to you, then don't panic. Just let it dry and it will come right off. Okay, so the next thing that I like to do is I like to apply my blush. And how I apply my blush is with a angled brush. If you notice the tip is like angled, what that does is it helps you kind of like hug the cheeks better. And so I like to just start like right at the top of my cheek, and ever so lightly you're gonna start applying the color. Yay! So one thing to keep in mind is that if you happen to put too much product on your brush, you can always tap it off, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to have too much product on your brush. So another thing I like to do is I like to bronze my forehead. I don't know why, but this just makes a huge difference for me. So I'm so used to it now, so it is part of my daily routine. You don't have to do this, but for me it's just something that it comes. So I did hear once from a customer that she was afraid to put bronzer because she was afraid that the lines would not blend really well. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you are applying bronzer, that you're being really light. So you're going to apply very light pressure. And I like to do the same thing to my cheeks, so. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add some highlighter. Now this is what's going to make you look awake, and it's going to make you look brighter. This is my favorite thing to do, so I do get a little carried away. When you're applying highlighter, you want to make sure that you focus it right at the top of your cheeks where the light naturally strikes your face. And then I just like to add a little bit to the bridge of my nose. And also just on the tip of my nose. So you can totally stop right here. I went ahead and added some eyeliner, some black eyeliner to my waterline. I do add it at the bottom and on top as well, on the inner parts of my eyes. So this is the finished look, and if you want, you can totally add lashes if you want, or you can add a cat eye if you want. Like sometimes I do that if I have enough time. I'll go ahead and do that. If not, like I'll go ahead and stop right here. So this is more of like just on the go, everyday, simple look. Again, a couple things to keep in mind is that you want to make sure that your face is clean. Whatever you do, make sure that you cleanse your face, that you moisturize, and then you use a primer. That's going to help your makeup last all day. One thing I do like to do after I'm done with my makeup is I like to use a setting spray. I've been using this Pixie Beauty. Oh my god, you guys, my voice is like going away. It's this glow mist. What this does, it like makes my skin feel super hydrated, and it does make my makeup last longer, and it kind of just like brings it all together, makes it all into one. When you are using a setting spray, you want to make sure that you have a fair amount of distance, about 12 inches or more, so that way you're not just like spraying it all in one place. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that you learned something new today, and let me know what you think. If you have any suggestions, or if there's something else that you want me to talk about, then definitely let me know. And also just keep in mind, guys, that when you're first starting to play around with makeup, you know, you have to know what works best for you. And so one of the things I love about makeup is the fact that the worst thing that could happen is that you'll try something and you won't like it, and then you can just wipe it right off. So don't be afraid to try new things, you know, explore, and just get to know, you know, what works for you. In the meantime, I hope to continue to inspire you guys to get to know yourselves, and also, you know, don't be afraid to try something new, especially with makeup, because it can be so much fun and you can just learn so many new things. So let me know what you guys think. Give this a thumbs up, share it, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye!